And we're live. Welcome everybody to week 5 of HDL season 2. You might be wondering why I hadn't streamed at all. This is the first stream of the new year, technically for me. Not even technically, it literally is the first stream of the new year for me. I'm gonna be honest, there isn't really any sort of like dramatic reason or anything why it didn't show up, or why it's taking me this long. Just to be completely blunt, I spent the last week of 2020 battling allergies and an extreme head cold, which are still plaguing me today. So yeah, even in 2021, 2020 is still trying to kill me. Go figure. Thankfully, at this point, it's mostly done and over with, and all I've got remaining is just a bit of a headache. But it was rough, as many other people in the Discord can tell you. I had spent quite a few days lamenting about how I wanted to stream. I've been wanting to stream for days, but every time I was about to sit down and press the go live button, something would come up, whether it just be me not being able to go like 1-2 sentences without sneezing randomly, or just random coughing fits, or just headaches. It was a whole mess. But I'm good for the most part. Throat is still a little bit raspy. Got a headache, but I'm in good enough shape to stream, which is great. So we're gonna start off with the week 5 recap, followed by something that actually got suggested to me by a friend, by an IRL friend, and that I brought it up with people in Discord, and they seemed like they were interested, so we'll give it a shot. We're gonna follow this up with a live video editing stream where it's gonna be a pretty chill thing. Basically, I'm just gonna stream myself actually editing, work for various clients of mine and stuff. And at the same time, if anybody has any questions about how I'm doing things, or if anyone wants to pick my brain on stuff, they can ask away. I think it's just sort of like a chill experiment. So with that all out of the way, I've kept you stalling on a black screen long enough. Let's go ahead and show the... Sorry. Let's go ahead and show the first replay. Now, technically, I would have called this out. We're gonna give you guys a little bit of a warm-up. He technically had a bye week this week, but Sandy decided halfway through the week to just start streaming in Discord. Zawardo indeed, degenerate trash god. Sandy decided halfway through week 5 to just randomly stream himself in Discord, laddering a team in RU on Smogon. And he wound up fighting his first opponent on one session. It was just a guy who just ran all horses. And he did lose, but I thought it was so funny that Sandy jokingly said, you could just put that replay over week 5, since that's my bye. And I was like, I'll do you one better. And so that's where this comes in. This isn't actually affecting his stat total at all for the league. I just thought it was really funny to reference it in his bye week section. But I figured, you know what? I'm memeing this so much, and no one else other than myself and the people, behind the scenes are gonna know what this is about. So I might as well, at the very least, warm you guys up with the tale of Sandy versus the army of horses. Also, hang on, I'm contractually obligated to read out this bit message in full. Or not this bit message, but this highlighted message. We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. A full commitment is what I'm thinking of, and you wouldn't get it from any other guy. I just want to tell you how I'm feeling. I gotta make you understand. I'm never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
Only form of text that you can find both in the Bible and in 2020.
Now, finally, someone speak my language. All right. So, it's first thing shows us set that on dark mode. Ugh. Rickrolls are fun. All right, I don't care what anyone says. I will say my favorite form of rickrolling last year was the whole joke towards the end of 2020 of actually making people rickroll themselves, because you would just like say like, yo, did you hear that the original rickroll video got taken down off YouTube for copyright infringement? And people actually believed it, and then they actually went to YouTube and searched for the and found the video was still up there, and they literally just rickrolled themselves. It was hilarious. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and start the tale of Legit was dying as you read that. Well, you know what? I live to entertain, so if you're laughing, then I'm laughing. All right, I don't care if I'm the butt of the joke. All right, I just care that I'm making other people laugh. We all need a little bit of things to laugh over, especially given everything that's happened last year.
Also, I'm here just to support Ben whenever he dies, and then come back to life by coughing.
You know what? At this rate, I might end up just evolving into a wheezing. I mean, I did draft one.
Oh, we can be buddies. I have COVID, you have wheezing.
You're very good support. That's a very nice trait. I appreciate it. I try to be. Stuff does get to me from time to time, but I try to be chill for the most part. I've just learned that in life, life's a lot more enjoyable if you just learn to roll with the punches instead of fighting against them all the time. Anyway, we're just gonna go ahead and start with Sandy versus Horse. So, Sandy started by leading with Togekiss against Deer Horse. As you can see, we got a little bit memey in the chat here. There's a long-running joke about Sandy about how he watched a video about a dude in a D&D session trying to claim that a horse was an open container. Yep. As stated in the Shona thing, which I love how I went this far. I went with Mud Horse, Unicorn, Ice Horse, Deer Horse, Steel Horse, and then because Silvally, Dogfish Bird Thing. So anyway, he starts with a T-Wave to paralyze the Glastrier. Not the Glastrier really minds. Thing's atrocious on base speed. Sends in Registeel, gets hit by the Icicle Crash.
Glastrier is literally just a Nokia. Slow, but that thing never dies.
Mud Horse got Toxiced.
Another Nokia.
Hard Swap into Togekiss right as Stealth Box gets set up. I forget if Sandy had... Yes, he did. So we're going to get rid of those hazards just right out the bat. Sandy has unfortunately reached the boiling point, and I hate to break it to your room, but no, this is not Explosion Volcanion.
Damn it. I am disappointed. It was the time... Wait, no, I have no disappointment experience bigger than this.
Staying out of a stream all morning and into nearly 3 p.m. talking, hacking, and Pokemon for picking up. That's cool. Talking's always a nice thing. It's fun to be chill from time to time. My mentality going into this year is I'm gonna pause for a little bit so I can take a comment in a sec. But my mentality going into 2021 is like I've been thinking about this for a while, and it's more so just I'm tired of constantly trying to like trying to be this really hype person, right? Oh no, it's if you're outright telling them that it's hacked, I don't give a shit. Like, the way I see it, unless you're, like, giving somebody, like, a mon that knows a move but should never be able to learn with the intent of them bringing it, like, a tournament or whatever, you can go ahead and hack away. I don't give a shit. Same result at the end of the day. But my mentality going into 2021 is just, I'm trying, in general, just be a lot more of a laid-back person. Because I feel like as I got more and more into... Thank you. I feel like as I got more and more into, streaming and stuff as a hobby, I've progressively become more and more of like an outgoing person, which is great. But as a process of that, I feel like I've sort of lost myself a little bit. Like I went from this pretty mellow and laid-back guy to this guy who's just not at all like that. And so I'm trying to go back to my roots a little bit this year. I think that's my goal. I hack stuff in that's possible to obtain, just unlikely, like a 6 IP Shiny Giratina. Yeah, no, that shit's fine. By the way, your music is very loud. Hang on, give me a second. That could be, that could be fixed pretty easily. There we go. Hopefully that's a little bit better. I can lower a little bit more if need be. Some of these tracks are definitely louder than others. It's the same. Interesting. That's... There we go. There we go. I'm looking through monitoring now. That should be better. Let's just undo the gate a little bit on actual track as that. There we go. I've got a slightly new audio setup going into the new year, and so there's still a few kinks every now and then that I'm working out, but there we go. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, by the way. Maybe slightly lower. Yeah. Let me. Yeah, lower that down there. That should hopefully be better. There we go. Okay. So. Did not change. Weird. Yeah, it only goes up in certain octaves. Hang on. Let me... just lower that down to there. I think that's probably as good as I'm going to get it for now. But hopefully that's a noticeable improvement at the very least. Anyway, going back into this, we've got pretty good's good enough here as far as I'm concerned. So that I'll take that. Spend too much time trying to make everything perfect, then you're just gonna take an eternity. It's just the sake of it. Anyway, going right back into this, we have Thunderfang being used. Raikou then proceeds to use an Aura Sphere on an incoming Virizion. Sand just keeps pivoting back into this Togekiss. Fortunately, he lets Virizion set up a Sword Stance, but is Virizion going to go anywhere with it? Whips a Stone Edge. Then dies to a crit Air Slash.
It wasn't being a normal Air Slash anyway.
Yeah. Icicle Crash. A Stealth Rock in Glastrier sets up a Sword Stance. It's hit with a Heavy Slam, but unfortunately Glastrier is a very, very heavy boy. Crit by the Flamethrower, not that it mattered, it was at 3%. Rapidash comes in. Ico gets hit with a high horsepower, which fuck the draw. Usually when I bring up hacked mons, I say I use a hacked 3DS and talk about it in depth, and I tell them I'm hacking Pokemon for people to use my boredom. Then I only hack stuff that's attainable, so it's not like shiny Keldale. But if it's something that's normally obtainable, I don't care. That's always been my pathology. Like, I gen in Pokemon all the time for when I'm playing competitively, but I just make sure that it's something that would be able to be obtained legitimately. That's all I care about. As long as you're not bringing something like a Judgment Magearna to like an online battle, I don't give a shit. If you want to breed, you can breed for it. If you want to gen it in, just gen it in. It's the same result either way. Zygarde gets hit by a Play Rough. Mudsdale comes in, gets hit by an Iron Tail, which unfortunately procs the stamina. And now Sandy's about to do something very stupid. And Scale Shot against a Stamina Mon.
At that moment, Sandy knew he fucked up.
It was a good thing that the Mudsdale was poisoned. I even rep Cerebi and other database sets and use legality checking PK hack. Yeah, exactly. Like, just... people can do what they want. Like, the way I see it is just, it's their pathology, alright? And even if it's a differing opinion, right? Even if I was like, oh, anti-gen or whatever, it's the same thing. It's like, it's your game. You can do whatever they want, your game. You have consumer rights. Anyway, Mudsdale gets Cat in. Valiant proceeds to kill Togekiss with an Iron Head. Exactly. People just don't realize it. Like, the way I see it is just, you know what? There's no point in, you know, sending all the hate over people who gen or something when what they're genning is perfectly legitimate. Because the way I see it is like, does it really even matter? Quite frankly, I don't think it does. It's the same result as if you were to breed, right? If you're that against, you know, a gen Pokemon, if you really want to make sure every single Pokemon that you get is something that you legally breed, breed, by all means, go for it, right? If you're somebody who's hell-bent on genning everything in, by all means, go for it. I don't care either way, all right? Both sides are valid. And that's just, it's that simple. Like, I'm someone who does gen. Hell, I helped make the custom firmware for the Switch. I'm part of the reason that genning in Sword and Shield exists. I don't give two shits, alright? If you want to gen. If you want to breed. It's that simple. There's no reason for people to just throw hate at one another for that. And quite frankly, I have better things to do in my life than get all, you know, twisted up about the legitimacy of a Pokemon on my game cartridge.
In the end, it's all just a combination of zeros and ones.
Exactly. I have better things to do with my life than to get all bent up in a twist about the legitimacy of my random string of binary code. It's just that simple. Alright? Anyway, let's get into the actual matches for week 5. So, we're gonna start off with, unfortunately, something tragic. We did, unfortunately, have a DQ this week. And to be fair, it was genuine human error, but the rules are rules. As you can see, the match starts quickly enough between Clay versus Jack. Hylian gets hit with a bolt beak. And brings Dark Control down to its sash for close combat. Want to see you win if possible, not gonna lie. Oh, well, I won this week's match. Don't worry. You'll see a W from me this week. I'm gonna try to win the league. I always try to win, but you know what? At the end of the day, I'm here to have fun.
To be fair, we had only one seed so far, so...
Yep.
We could only have been one winner.
I'm rooting for you. I appreciate it. So, this is unfortunately where the DQ is about to transpire. Zapdos uses agility, which is fine, but then Zapdos proceeds to use Baton Pass, which costs the game because of the rules we have in place on this specifically later on in turns. We had a rule in place where Pokemon Tier 1 or where Pokemon Tier 2 or lower were allowed to use Baton Pass, but Pokemon Tier 1 could not. And unfortunately, Zapdos is Tier 1. So, it was that simple. Both sides, you know, there's no grudges or anything. It's just these things happen. Just chill, we've moved past it. That being said, I'm sure that both sides are going to come after this pretty well. In all honesty, like, this DQ on this match, it's probably not even going to play a huge factor in the long term. Like, both teams still have a solid chance of making playoffs, even with this having happened. Anyway, time for an actual match between yours truly and the Copenhagen Ferrets. This is what I like to refer to as full circle, because in this match, I quite literally brought almost 3 running jokes across multiple seasons and years to a close in a single battle. How did I do this? Some people often get bent out of shape, but for me, games are just that, a piece of software I gauge with their entertainment. Exactly. Like, that's your pathology, right? Like, you can do what you want with the things you paid for. Albeit, as long as you're not, causing, harm to others, right? Like, as long as, the way I see it, if you want to, mess around and hack with your software, right? Something you paid for, if that's entertaining to you, go ahead and do it, right? It's you paid for the product. At that point, it's within your rights. As long as you're not, turning that into a weapon of some sorts, go to town. I don't care. Go ahead and make all your characters T-pose all the way down to the Pokemon Center. I don't give a shit. You paid for the product. You can do what you want with it.
T-pose one.
That would actually be pretty funny if somebody just made an edit of a Pokemon game where it's just everything was perpetually stuck in T-pose. It would actually be pretty funny.
And all in a different art style, like one very detailed and one just.
I was more referring to wage quitters. I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, it's just some people like that are just always going to exist. But the thing that separates a rage quitter from somebody who, from somebody who actually wants to play the game is that the person who wants to play the game isn't going to let the toxicity get to them, right? The easiest way to deal with a rage quitter or somebody toxic in the community is to just simply detach yourself from the situation, all right? If someone is being consistently toxic, then just distance yourself from them, right? And I know it's a lot easier said than done. I know it's always a lot easier said than done to, ignore people. That shit gets under everyone's skin. It used to get under my skin all the time. But the thing about it is that that's what the people who are toxic want. They want to get under your skin, right? That's how they live. That's how they feed off you. They want to get under your skin. They want to keep you thinking about them. They want to keep you annoyed because it fuels them. So, as soon as you stop doing that, right? As soon as you start doing things like distancing yourself away from them or, ignoring them, right? All of a sudden, you're not giving them what they want anymore. Toxicity can only live if we continue to acknowledge it. It's just that simple. It's a fundamental principle. The easiest way to stop toxicity is just to not acknowledge it. And I know that's way easier said than done, but it's also surprisingly a pretty practical solution. You just have to learn your own limits in life. Spitting straight up facts, my guy. I mean, I try. I've been down this road way too many times, both IRL and online. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. So, we bring out tactical reasoning. I shamelessly stole this from Yaroon. I'm gonna be honest. If you go to week 2, Yaroon decided to just bring Explosion Volcanion. I decided to just return the favor this week against Kevin by bringing Misty Explosion Galarian Wheezing, which is also the same reason why it's Misty Surge. So that way I didn't have to spend a turn using the move, and I could just immediately just turn 1 Yo for Misty Explosion. I didn't care if I killed anything. My entire goal here was just to blow up.
I respect you for doing it.
Yeah.
Good job.
I was always intimidated by Chorus in Pokemon. Yeah, Chorus was always like, he gave off a fucking like menacing aura. So he sends in the thing. Almost Okosa Togetic. Like I said, I didn't care. I just wanted to blow up. Alright, so that's the first thing we bring full circle. Because that was a few weeks in the waking. Because first it started with Jex Victini using Final Gambit on me week 1. Then it went to an Exploding Volcanion. Then it went to an Endeavor Zeraora. And now we've got an Exploding Galarian Weezing. So now that's come full circle. Yeah, so Colress and Black 2 White 2 was fucking scary. So, unfortunately, I whiffed the Leech Seed. I just keep getting terrible luck with these Leech Seeds this season. I Protect again, just sort of like scout, see what it is. Drain Punch comes in. I'm just gonna set up a Leech Seed because he can't do anything to me. So, get a little bit of health back. So, hang on, I gotta check this a little bit.
And as you can see here, Carphone is just stalling out.
Yep. Well, at this point, I've got sort of a thing where it's just, I can just sort of like scout. I need to get better rates on this thing. I Wisp on what just so happened to be a physical Vikavolt, which was honestly that was just a stroke of luck, to be honest. I more so Wisped on the event that he brought in Poliwhirl. Even it was something I got a feeling Guzma was not saying certain things. It's a kid's game. I really wanted to say some edgy shit, but yeah, Guzma literally just comes off as that one guy who's just like, damn it, I really want to say fuck so badly. Let Guzma swear. I would honestly have laughed so hard if they had just like censored out, just like with asterisks, something in his text, and then just everybody just gave a shocked ass expression on their face.
here's vulnerable.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna, volt switch out back into Pharaoh because, again, it's a Vacant Vault. He's burned. He can't do anything to this, so it's free real estate. I can continue to scout, get information. He brought X Scissor. Obviously, that's gonna be some Rocky Barbs damage. Set back up a Leech Seed. There's another reason why I'm weakening his team so much, and you're about to see why. I'm switching into Zard, obviously. The X-Scissor doesn't matter to me because Leech Seeds are all over the field. And then, time for thing number 2 to go full circle. I Mega Evolve. It's gonna hit me with Wild Charge, but it doesn't matter because I'm bulky. Fury Cutter Zard Y. This was a joke 2 seasons in the making. It started with Jack bringing Fury Cutters Zard Y in season 1. Then
against Kevin.
Yeah, against Kevin. Then Kevin brought it against Jack illegally a few weeks ago. And now it's my turn. This was a joke multiple seasons in the making. And I am so glad it paid off. And let's be real, if I didn't do this, they would never forgive me. I feel like I was obligated in a sense to do this.
I think Fury Cutter is Kevin's kryptonite.
Yeah.
Jack used it and he won. Kevin used it and it backfired. You used it and you won. And that's Greek rock.
It's just, look, I felt obligated. I was like, you know what? I really want to just bring normal Zard Y here, but I kind of have to. Finish this, right? I gotta finish the meme. Funny thing is, in the Team Rainbow Rocket episode, we see Chorus from after Team Plasma disbanded, deal with Geddes from Team Plasma's time in another world, and somehow Chorus is every bit as menacing like Wilson. Yeah, I like to think that it was just looking at Geddes just sort of fucking made Chorus flashback to all the terrible shit, and it was just like, you son of a gun, you. I think it just made Chorus see red a little bit, just seeing him again. Probably just like a shit ton of pent up rage. Anyway, we've got I bring that one full circle. Then we have obviously I go to town. Can't really do more than that, but you know what? I got the kill with Fury Cutter, which is what I care about. All right, that was what I did. So I brought that full circle. So this was something that was really funny here. Chorus outright said he always hated Geddes before teleporting back to his world. Yeah, exactly. It's just like, you see someone who you absolutely despise, and then you think about all the terrible things that you did because of their actions, right? And he just like, he's just saw red. I don't blame the man at all. So the funny thing about this encounter is you can see clearly the first waterfall did 49%, right? Mind you, I'm not a physical Regice, right? I'm very much a. I could have seen Ann and Usum was also. I liked Ann. Ann was a fun character. I would love to see him brought back, even if it's just like a brief cameo. I would love to see him brought back, or at least acknowledged. But the funny thing about this this Regice was that I was obviously I was specially defensive Regice. This was max special attack, max special defense, or something like that. But I was not defense invested really. He obviously turn 1 waterfall did 49%. I at first thought that this was just a high roll, right? like, sure, he was in rain, but I was like, okay, this has to have just been like a high roll, right? He's not gonna Oko. Which is fine, because the turn that he used, the second waterfall, I actually clicked Rock Polish, and the whole play here, that I was gonna turn 1 Rock Polish, and I was gonna outspeed him, and I believe I had a move on the set that would have turned the tides in my favor at that point. But obviously then the next waterfall did 51%, so I was like, wait, huh? Was that a low roll? I found out after the match, he was Metronome Poliwhirl. Not the move, the item. For those who forget what Metronome the item does, I don't blame you, because it's not an item that most people use, or have even heard of. Metronome is an item that gives every single move a Fury Cutter effect. If a Pokemon holds this item and uses the same move over and over again, the move will gain 10% increased power for each turn it's used in a row. Or, in any gen past Gen 4, 20% increased power. So in other words, this just gives every move a Fury Cutter effect, as long as it's being held by the Pokemon. And was one of the deepest characters to ever be in the main series Pokemon. Oh, facts. I still think that Gen 5 just does not deserve the rep people give it. Like, Gen 5 was great. Great gen. I loved it.
Hot take. If Gen 1 wasn't the first gen, it would have been the absolute worst gen.
Honestly, facts.
Worse than X and Y, worse than Gen 5, everything.
Gen 5 was the pinnacle of Pokemon. That's what I'm saying. I loved Gen 5. I loved the story-first approach. I wish we would get another Pokemon game like that. I loved... One of the things I also loved, and I get that it's a controversial opinion, and not a lot of people liked it, was I loved in Black White 1 how there were no previous Gen Mons until you entered postgame. And so, before you beat the Elite Four the first time, you only encountered Pokemon that were new from the Unova region. I loved that. I actually really loved that, because it encouraged me to use Pokemon that I probably would have never used otherwise, and it really made me feel like I was playing effectively a soft reboot. Because we hadn't had something like that happen since Red and Blue, which I'm old enough to where I've played Gen 1. I was alive when Gen 1 happened. So seeing something like that happen again in Gen 5, that was really cool. I loved that. Gen 5 did everything so well. I loved it. Exactly. I was so invested. Like, I played through the entirety of... When Black White 1 came out, I was actually on vacation. And I remember I actually picked it up because it came out the day I had to go for a flight. So I grabbed it. I picked up my copy right before I had to go to the airport. Picked up my copy. I remember 13-year-old Ben's just sitting there, right, on the airplane, just completely invested, right? Like, I could not look away from my DS for a second. It was just, I was in love. Like, it was so good, so well, so thought out. Gen 5, in my opinion, was probably the best gen. Honestly, I would say that's a close call, though. Like, I'd rather have to give it to Gen 4 or Gen 5. But Gen 5 is definitely up there. If Gen 5 is not my favorite gen, it is my second favorite gen. It's that high up there.
I think Gen 5 is definitely one of my all-time favorite gens.
It was definitely like...
Probably the top.
Like, everything past Gen 5 just went downhill.
But I will say, Gen 5 did have its flaws.
I mean, yeah, but what is a Pokemon game without their flaws, to be honest? There are definitely some things Gen 5 could have handled better. But I think for the most part, they were really solid.
I think, Alder, the character, was amazing. But, as a champion, his team was garbage.
Oh yeah. Well, they rectified that in Black 2 White 2 when Iris became champion.
Yeah.
Gen 4
And
was
Gen
extremely
4
good, but had some flaws like type diversity, lack of and the HMs, and my god, the awful Yeah, I mean, Platinum at least fixed the type diversity for the majority of it. But no, the
Diamond and
HMs, HMs as field moves are definitely a concept I don't miss.
My biggest thing with Gen 4, like Gen 6 had pretty big favoritism with Greninja. That's fact.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even remotely comparable to the favoritism for Infernape.
Yeah.
I mean, Infernape had by far the best stats, typing, and even though every typing could apparently deal with each other, because of Infernape's stats, he was the only one who can actually win the complete versus Ebola versus Doctara.
He was one of the only 2 fire-type Pokemon available for post-game in Diamond and Pearl. You had to give him something. Yeah, no, Gen 4 I really enjoyed. Honestly, the map was never much of an issue to me. I can understand why some people had gripes with the app, but for me, I never really had much of an issue with it. The type issue, yeah, in Diamond and Pearl, the type diversity is a very prominent issue, and I would thankfully say that they fixed that pretty much in Platinum, thankfully. But the HMs are definitely something that, like, yeah, that's something I don't miss. If there's one thing that I do like that they've done from Gen 7 onwards, it's just the removal of required HMs. I do not miss having an HM slave in my party. Anyway, continuing onward, right? 5 digits pulse equals 7 for 13 moves people. I wish they would do that more. Like, as cool as definitive third versions were, I do think the Black 2 White 2 approach is better. I liked the whole, let's move this forward a few years in time, right? What would happen? I like that. He
I wonder.
Sent in Sableye, gets hit by Soul Ring. Sorry, what was that?
I wonder, will there ever be a perfect Kyurem form thingy?
Save for Gen 5 remakes, and they're gonna shoehorn it in the Black 2 White 2 episode.
Okay, my bet is that it will be the first triple type. Out of 4.
Technically?
Or it's going to be Ice Dragon, but like stab in both fire and
So
electric.
I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna sort of operate with like they're gonna give it an ability that gives it stab with fire and electric, I think. That's what I would think they'd do. Because I don't think they'd ever just outright give something a third type. Especially since we already have a mon that sort of does that in Delmise. Because if you remember, Delmise is Grass Ghost, but it has an ability that gives it stab with steel type moves.
Yeah, Steel Worker.
Yeah, so it's effectively as close as you can get to a triple type mon.
So we'll be fine with that.
So I think it would be like an Ice Dragon or maybe Fire Dragon, whatever, and then just whatever its ability would just give it stab and the other 2 typings that it doesn't have inherently. I think that's what. Or either that, or maybe it's just maybe they just make it Mono Dragon, and it's just its ability just gives it stab with fire, ice, and electric.
Maybe it changes the type depending on which typing of the move it uses. Like, if it uses an ice move, it does the ice type.
Yeah.
But only within those 3 typings. If it's like, it's using an ice move, then a normal type move, it doesn't turn into a normal dragon, just an ice dragon.
I'm a harsh critic, but even as I criticize Gen 4, I still love it. Yeah, exactly. Like, that's the thing I also wish people remember. Just because I criticize something doesn't mean I hate it. Sometimes I criticize things because I love it. I complain about the state of Pokemon because I love these games and I want them to do better. I complain about things in life because I love them and I know they can do better. When I complain or when I criticize, it's out of a place of love, not out of spite. Regardless, Mets is gonna come in. Kevin's gonna metronome, set up Misty Terrain. Thankfully, he did not metronome Misty Explosion. I'm gonna spoil that right now. As funny as that would have been. I'll proceed to Dragon Dance. Kevin's going to metronome into a flip turn and go into Latios. But I've now set up 2 Dragon Dances. I now officially outspeed this Latios, even if it's Scarfed. And it's going to die to a single Dragon Claw. And so too will the rest of his team. He metronomes in a Meteor Beam, but it's not going to, it's not going to reach the next turn. Although if it had, that would have been terrifying, and that probably would have killed me. I do whiff a dual Wing Beat, and I get hit with a Seismic Toss. However, the second dual Wing Beat does connect. Where it comes in and will also die to the same fate. Because that's just, you know what? That's just how it is sometimes. I do echo off what I said. I know my webcam's sort of obscuring this here, but I finished it off where it said, Kevin said, couldn't even let me kill myself for it rude, which I responded with, I'm tired of people suiciding to me. Yeah, I kind of echo that statement. Look, I had a Victini Final Gambit me, I had a Volcanion blow up on me. I'm tired of people blowing up on me. It is funny, though. If there's one thing about this recurring joke, it's that it's funny. There is no denying that. So up next, we have Wade versus Tyler, Flip Kimmy versus YoMoves. I actually have not seen this one. So I'm going in this one blind.
I have seen this one.
So as you can see, Sock wants to hit it, but gets hit by an Earthquake instead. Has to swap out into Floor Dot Gift. Gets hit by some Rock Blasts. Ooh. That's a lot of damage. Hard swap into Vanillux. So with the Strength Sap, Vileplume back to full because Strength Sap is just a busted move. I don't care what anyone says. Fact Machine comes in. Fact, this is a giant hunk of metal. Agility. Meteor Beam with power. Oh. 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 Fact, I'm a fire in my. Oh.
He was slightly off.
Oh, I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him. Power or Meteor Beam after an agility, and he misses. Oh, I feel so bad.
By the way, that Meteor Beam mattered.
It 100% the power herb mattered, yeah. Like that miss mattered. If he had hit the power herb, like he would have been able to kill him with a second. We have beastbeastbeast.com using sticky webs on the incoming Darmanitan. Opts to go into a belly drum. Citrus Berry goes off, so we've got a nice belly drum sweeping Darmanitan here. Earthquakes through a reflect still does over half of the health, but not to be surprised. Moonblast does a crit. Bobby's gonna go down to another earthquake. The attack plane comes in, fires off a dragon dart, gets a crit. Not that it matters because it would have hit twice, and with 2 hits that would have killed anyway.
The attack plane didn't have jazz on the radio.
Attack plane unfortunately gets struck down by an iceberg, much like the Titanic. Sock comes into...
How do you think Darmanitan was using Earthquake on the Bumpy?
Oh goddammit, it all makes sense now.
The jazz.
It all makes sense now. Card is gonna get knocked out, but it's already been blocked off. Swords Dance is gonna come in. Gonna get hit by a Drain Punch. Just get all that health back. God. I actually completely forgot Vanillix got weak armor. Holy crap. It's been so long since I've seen a Vanillix with anything other than Snow Warning. And then on top of that, the red card.
Fun fact, the red card actually mattered.
Vanillix is gonna get hit by an Electro Ball. Swap into a Gengar. It's also gonna just take that Electro Ball, disable it with Curse Body. Kill the Zero Orbs. Oh my god, the red card mattered. Oh my god, that actually mattered. That's hilarious. We have a knockoff. Ice Punch comes in. We do not get a freeze on the Vileplume, unfortunately. So we hard swap back into Gengar. Just get hit by the other station. God, I hate that move so much. They really need to adjust the scaling of health on that.
Yes, they do.
Just bring out a Nasty Plot, get hit by a Petal Blizzard. We're still living, albeit barely. Use a Shadow Ball to close out the kill. And now all that's left is just a lone Sock at 20% health that really wants to hit it. Will he be able to hit it? Yes, he will. But will he be able to hit a Slowbro? Which then Mega Evolve. Yes, but it will not kill. And thus will die by being drowned in the ocean. The very ocean that he wanted to hit. This has been Poetry with Hylian Media. Why is Wade on such a big win streak? Like, to put this into perspective, for context sake, here's Wade's T page. He's lost he's won every battle he's been in. This man has 0 L's. None.
I still need to play him, so don't worry.
Oh, so do I. And I'm terrified. With each week he goes undefeated, I became more and more terrified.
His Pokemon also started to do JoJo's stat thingies.
He's slowly his team is slowly just mastering Ultra Instinct at this point. And finally, we have Spooks versus Lionboy. I have also not seen this one. I'm gonna start off with an Archeops versus Druddigan. Lionboy's gonna set up some hazards. Get hit by a Rock Slide. Lives with the Focus Sash. Brings Druddigan down to 1 with Endeavor. obviously taking no damage from the bulldoze. Close up the kill with dual weaving. My guess is that Spook's expected to switch into circuitry. Gonna endeavor an Electivire. He finally gets the blow in his Archeops. Tapu Fini comes out. So does the Urgatry. Oh, Kosa with a Thunderbolt. Umbreon comes in. Barely lives a crit Dazzling Gleam at +1. You can see Spook's forgetting about Toxic not working in Misty Terrain for a bit there. We're going to Mega Evolve the Gardevoir, pull out a Hyper Voice, and Mega Gardevoir is going to do Mega Gardevoir things, it looks like. See, we have Swords Dance, Stance changing to Blaze form. Kill out that with a Shadow Snake.
Gardevoir was screaming for a manager, but security came.
Yeah, okay, that's 2. And then that's gonna... Okay. Well, that happened. I don't really know how to close that out. So,
bricks are not circles. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you for closing that out for me. So we've gotten that out of the way. That is our recap for week 5. Without further ado, let's set up our little experiment for this. Not sure how to... Is there like a setting for... I'm not sure I call this art. What's the best place to put this? I'm just gonna put it in just chatting for now, because I don't know where else to put it. Because I wouldn't exactly consider it art.
I'm gonna hop off, by the way. I have still some things to do.
Later. It's, let's see, what else could we put on here? That's good enough, I think. So, I've done that in there. Change the title. Alright, now I just need to quick add a scene for this. At the same time, cutting off monitoring for right. You guys are still gonna hear music. Might be a little bit faint. The music is distracting what's going on for you guys, but just trying to figure out one of the best scene for this. So it should be like that, and then all right. So going into that, so that all should be good. Let's go ahead and add a webcam so you guys can sort of see where I am. And we of course need a window capture. Adobe Premiere Pro. There we go. So, we're going to, let's see, where's a good place for this? Probably like right around Sort of run around here for now, I think. Sort of dumb that down. There we go. So, this is something I haven't normally done before. I was actually going to do this yesterday, but then, you know, in the wake of certain events that happened, I decided to just not stream at all. But it's sort of a new thing. I got the idea from one of my IRL friends to just stream myself editing content, because that's what I do. I am a freelance video editor. I just very recently graduated college with a bachelor's in communications degree, with primary study of video production. So I edit media in my spare time. That's just what I do. And somebody came up to me and suggested that maybe I just start streaming myself editing my content. And, you know, I don't know why I never thought of that, because that just seems like a good idea. So, I threw out the suggestion in my Discord server. People seemed interested in the idea. So, we're going to give it a shot today. This is going to be a pretty chill, laid-back thing. I'm not going to really turn on the funny for this, because there's not a reason for me to do that when it comes to this. This is much more where I become a more serious, you know, work-oriented person. So, don't be surprised if there's going to be a lot of, you know, me sort of concentrating on stuff, not necessarily talking about things here and there. I'm going to try to explain the things I'm doing as I'm doing them. And by the way, if you guys ever have, you know, any questions about what I'm doing, necessarily, right? Or about, what's going on, where, that sort of thing, right? Feel free to chime in, right? That's what I'm here for, right? If you guys have any, you know, questions of your own as well, right? Just go ahead and ask away, right? I'll try to answer them as best I can. The way I see it, I can just sort of act like a little tutor here, as I sort of just do my own thing. So we are actually going to... Sorry, I just got lunch. So we're gonna just like sort of jump into this here. So let's see here. Just pinging people in the Discord. There we go. So, the first thing you need, right, in regards to Premiere Pro, mind you, this is the software I'm using. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. That's just what I use. It's for better or for worse. It is, unfortunately, the industry standard. And, unfortunately, that just means that, you know, for better or for worse, this is what the industry uses, right? And nobody wants to be that one guy who has the file format from a video editing software that nobody else can open, right? And so you need to learn to just sort of work alongside the industry, and that unfortunately means using Premiere Pro. As much as I hate Premiere Pro, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't like the software, but you know what? It's the industry standard, and so that's what I have to use. So the first step really in regards to Premiere Pro, before you even get started on editing, you know, really anything, is you need to check, hang on, I'm gonna change this to a screen capture actually, just full on display capture. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to see what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and that. There we go. So this might look a little bit wonky for you guys, but that is unfortunately just due to, you know, how I have to do things. I use a ultra-wide monitor for my editing. What that means is that as opposed to most monitors, which run at a resolution of 16 by 9, right? My monitor runs at as an aspect ratio of 21 by 9, right? 29 by 9 is the cinematic standard for aspect ratio. All movies are traditionally shot in a 21 by 9 aspect ratio. That's why whenever you go to the movie theaters, right, and you see something like the newest Marvel movie, and there's those black bars on the top and bottom, right? That's why. It's because the video is shot in a 21 by 9 aspect ratio. And since it's not 16 by 9, it can't fill up the entirety of a 16 by 9 display without being cut off. So that's what those black boxes are for. That's what that letterboxing is. So for a video editor, it helps to be editing in the same aspect ratio as most footage you're going to be given, right? Now, obviously, I'm not working on major motion films or anything like that, and the majority of the footage I'm going to be given was 16 by 9, but there's still benefits to me using an ultra-wide monitor. For example, I can see so much more of my timeline at once compared to a 16 by 9 monitor, and it's just all around just a lot. I can see a lot more information than I normally would be able to. So if things look a little bit like stretched out or squished, that's just why. It's because I'm using an ultra-wide monitor, and Twitch does not play nice with ultra-wide resolutions, so it's scaling it down for you guys, and it's going to look a little bit squished because of that. But you're just going to have to, hopefully it doesn't look too bad. So the first step before you get started is you need to actually check your Premiere Pro settings. The easiest way to do this is to go to Project, Settings, and go to General. You can see here's my project. I just have the untitled project selected. This is by default what it's gonna send you to if you choose not to just create a new project file. For quick one-off edits, I normally just use the untitled project. You're not generally advised to do that, but for something that's just like a quick, just cut this out and then export, I just use this profile, right? If it's a more in-depth project, it's recommended to create a brand new project. So for what I'm going to show you guys, let's go ahead and do that. So in the case of that, we have to go back to File, right? New. And Project. Now, today we're actually going to be editing my good buddy Luna's footage that she sends me a while back. So we're gonna work on that. So we're gonna title this Luna Buddy Moments Montage. You can change the location of the project file if you need to. I normally just leave this as default. It is recommended, if you have multiple drives, to put this on your fastest drive, whether that be your SSD, your hard drive, whatever you've got. If you've got an SSD or an M.2, try to put it on an M.2 or a SATA SSD at minimum, because that's going to make all of this run so much faster. If all you have is a hard drive, then by all means, use the hard drive. Just know that if you can put this onto an SSD, if you can find the room to put it on as an SSD, it's going to be an infinitely faster and smoother experience. Here you can change your video editing and rate flag. You can choose between whether or not you want actual GPU acceleration or software. What this means in layman's terms is if you have a dedicated graphics card, something like, you know, an NVIDIA GeForce GTX graphics card or an AMD Radeon, right? This first option will allow your graphics card to actually help with your rendering process, which will just make things a lot faster. If you don't have those, select software, and that will use the integrated graphics in your built-in processor. It is almost always better for you to choose the GPU acceleration option if you have a dedicated graphics card. You can then choose your display format for video, the options of timecode, feeds, frames, frames. I generally leave this on timecode. That's the industry standard. What this means is it abbreviates in terms of hours, minutes, seconds, milliseconds. In that order. It's just a universal timecode format. It's the industry standard. It's the standard measurement across all editing softwares. I prefer to just leave it in timecode. If you want to switch it to a different format, you're more than welcome to do so. You can then also choose your audio format. You can choose audio samples or milliseconds. I prefer to leave this on audio samples. Your video format, capture format, can be changed between DV and HDV. HDV will just prompt a high definition direct video if supported. I generally leave this on DV because you're not going to be capturing directly in Premiere a whole lot, and when you are going to, it's generally for audio voiceovers, and the difference in quality is negligible. For color management, you're going to want... This is a dicey topic, right? Ideally, you would want to set your HDR graphics to as high of a frequency as you can. So for me, that would be 300 with 62% of the PQ wide color gamut. But basically what this equates to, in layman's terms, is the higher these numbers are, the more colors you can actually display when rendering. Which means the more vivid and lifelike your end footage is going to look like. The downside to these is that it's more demanding on your computer, right? In certain situations, or it's limited by your monitor. In my case, my computer does not support my monitor, right, does not support 10-bit color or HDR. So even if I were to change my HDR, my color management profile here, my monitor would not be able to display a difference between it. Because of that, I leave it at 100. You also have, obviously we're moving on to the scratch disk settings now. As you see, we have options. By default, it saves all of your things pertaining to the project to the same folder as the actual project file. If you wanted to set a custom directory, this is where you do that. You just select custom, and you go to browse, and you can choose a directory there. So this is if you wanted to set a unique location for anything, this is where you do that. Moving right along to ingest settings, this is a very tricky thing. So ingest settings are generally reserved for what is known as proxies. Proxies are optional files that editors will frequently use for when you have a very large file size project or something that you're going to be rendering multiple times. A proxy will just make the entire process faster, more streamlined, and allows you to make destructive edits without actually damaging the raw file. Proxies are your best friend. I typically do not use proxies because they take up a lot of file space. We're talking upwards of a terabyte sometimes. But if you have the storage space to justify it, right, and if it's a very large-scale project, by all means, go ahead and use a proxy. So, for me, I more or less leave these the same. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to press OK. So, as you see, we got some. When you go into Premiere Pro, right? First thing you're gonna see, obviously, is this learning tab, right? I don't care about that. I'm the one teaching you guys here. So, I'm gonna go into the Assembly tab. This is more or less a place where I can go to just import things into the project. So I can see we have the Untitled project, we have the Funny Moments project folder. We have an actual media browser, which this just lets me, you know, browse the folders on my computer from within Premiere Pro, so I do not have to open File Explorer. I have markers and audio clip mixer library, standard stuff. For now, we're going to focus on the media browser, right? For the case of this, I need to first find the footage that Luna sent me. I know where that is, thankfully. And that is going to be in my users file, in my documents folder, and it's going to be this file and this folder. If you need to select more than one file, hold down Control, select as many as you want, and I'm going to just right-click and select Import. This is going to import these files into the Premiere Pro project, so then they will show up here. Well, they showed up in the wrong thing, of course. And that's not what was supposed to hang on. Of course. Okay. Import. See, it doesn't want to show up, which is fine, because that just means we're just going to force it. So I'm going to go ahead and select this. And also, if you find difficulty, you can go ahead and just open up a file Explorer and just do it that way. And you know what? I'm going to, because it's giving me trouble. So we're going to select that. I'm just going to select that whole folder. Selecting import folder down here. So now we've got our footage imported, right? That's the easy part. So now we can actually, you know, go to our editing pane. You can stay in the assembly pane still if you're just working on placing stuff in the timeline, but for me, I just prefer going straight to the editing pane as soon as possible because that's where all the real tools are. So as you can see, we've got a lot of information on our hands right now, right? We've got these two big old windows right here. We've got this right down here, and this directly above my webcam. So this right here is actually just the audio level indicator. This is going to go up and down as audio is playing in Premiere Pro. It's going to show you just the approximate audio level, how loud something is. It's that simple. The higher up this goes, the louder something is. It's just that simple. This up here, this is the source window. If I've got a specific video file source, right? Let's say I double click on this. That's going to show up in here first, right? So I can play something from this window, right? If I just wanted to view a source file on its own without having to import it into timeline, right? I can do that from here, right? This also lets me view individual parts of the video without viewing the entire output project, which is this pane right here. This shows you the current state of your entire project as a whole. If I were to render out this video right now, this is what the end result would look like. That's what this preview pane is right now. We also have options to, if you only wanted to drag the video or the audio, you can do that. For now, we're not going to be too focused on that sort of thing, right? Right now, we're more focused on, we need to find out a good balance for these videos. So Luna graciously sent me quite a few clips. So we're going to go ahead and just dump them all onto the timeline. You do this by either just dragging the file itself onto this pane, or you can double click to open the source window and then just drag the actual video image down into the timeline. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drag all of these in, just one after another. Alright. So that's all 6 of these, just off the bat, right? Let's take a look at what we've got here, for starters, right? Also very simple process, right? Double click, you either play from the source folder or you can play from here. I'm gonna go ahead and just play from the source. Hang on, let me... There we go. So that one's I'm a little bit iffy about. So we're gonna omit that one for now. This one, I'm gonna know for a fact I'm gonna keep is the one I think it is. Give me a second here. All right. So you can see this one has a bit of a long build up to it, right? So we're gonna try to trim that out, right? So the easiest way is we just sort of trim out what we can, while at the same time leaving enough context to where the viewers can understand. So that's about the confident we need. We need just right where it starts with Luna's getting hunted. That's where we have the clip start really. So right around there. We just sort of cut that out. So all this here, this is unnecessary information basically. So we can cut out that bit, right? So let's keep going, right? Let's see if there's any more information, right? What's a good endpoint for this clip? So let's go right around. Let's say what was a good endpoint? So let's start at never mind she fucking died. I think that's a good spot to end. So we just need to drag that back a little bit. There we go. So right about there. That's a good cut. Good cut. So that's this right here. This is a good clip on its own. Just right here. We can leave that be. Now let's see if there's anything else you'd want to separate into maybe a different clip, right? Let's see. I think I already know a perfect thing. Let's start like maybe right here. All right. So I feel like that's sort of a good clip just on its own. So we can isolate that, right? These are more or less, we can order these later, right? This is more or less the step where we sort of like trim out unnecessary information in regards to sort of montage, which is what we're doing in this project. So we've got another clip. So this one's called Oh Baby, a Triple Kill. So I think I know what Luna wants me to sort of trim out here. Her fucking Discord notifications keep getting me every time. Because every time I think that's my end, right? And it's not. Yeah, I need to close my blinds here because the light's just getting right in my. Ugh. God dang it. Is that time again? There we go. That should be better. It's that time again where the sun's beginning to just get right to the point where it goes right through my window and into my face. So, there we go. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and figure out what I'll be on the lookout for here. Let's see. I think I know what to be on the lookout for in this clip. So far, I haven't really seen, much in the way of the triple kill. We are already about like halfway through. So I know there's a third one coming up here because I'm about to hear more gunshots. You can tell that's because that's where it's peeking in the waveform. So we saw the 2. Where's the third? At this rate, I might be able to isolate this into 2 clips, which I probably will do. Let's see. Sort of just start scrobbling through here a little bit. So I'm not sure. I think she miscounted because I only saw the 2. Regardless, I know where to start here. Right around here. That should be where we start. There we go. So the rest of this, as far as I'm concerned, that's unnecessary filler. So, got that. Now let's see, party at the Butcher Bounty. Let's see here. Some funny looking dogs, by the way. Mooing like cows. I'm just gonna quick. Clay, why do you keep stealing Luna's spotlight? All right, I know what I'm putting in that quip. So. Start there. Now let's see what this one's about. Possessed Ouija board. I feel like that clip just sort of speaks for itself. I don't think I need to cut anything out on that. I feel like I just sort of like that as it is. This was filler. So let's go ahead and start, dragging shit back. So as you see right now, let's just go ahead and start. Moving that there. Now the last one. Why hello there. Again, another one where I think that was just like, I don't need to edit that. That was just sort of perfect on its own. I could just sort of steal that as it is. Like, no adjustments need to be made on that. I feel like the delivery, the spacing, there's nothing to trim out on that one. So, we're going to leave that there. So now I've taken care of the ones in the actual folder here. So now we've got the big boy. This is a full-on Twitch VOD that Luna sent me. So this one's going to take a while to go through. In fact, it's probably going to take, I'm probably going to save half of this for like another stream. But for the majority of this, let's go ahead and like sort of, let's read through the filler here, because there's a lot of this that I don't really care about right now. To be specific, there's the majority in terms of hunt and stuff, I'm not too concerned about. That's not where I'm focused. I'm focused on something that happens about halfway in. Here we go. This was us talking about the whole Godfall thing, by the way. Not too focused on that bit. All right. So we got our chicken horse segment. We've got yeah. We're gonna just go through all that for a minute. All right, I'm gonna put a marker there at some point just to remind myself to just, as an editor's note, throw in there saying, "Don't even get me started." Uh, Perfect place to cut that clip. Gotta move that. All right. I think that's good enough as a sort of like a brief introvert as to how these streams are gonna go. Next time we're gonna go a little bit more in depth with this, but I feel like that's probably a good ending point for now. So next time I do one of these, I'll probably be like next week, maybe a week after, something like that. I'm probably not gonna do these regularly, maybe like every other week or something like that. Next time we go to this, I'll actually go into like I'm gonna finish grouping these off in my own time, and I'm gonna go to actually some of the more enjoyable stuff like keyframing, because I feel like that's where it's gonna be a lot more fun for you guys. I'm not expecting to get a whole lot of views on this. Quite frankly, I don't care. This is something I'm passionate about, something I like doing. I figured maybe I'd share it. All right, it's that simple. So I'd like to thank you guys all so much for watching. I will likely be live again. Probably, I'm gonna be live again. I want to say Tuesday with more with Return to Kingdom Hearts streams. Thursday might be a toss-up. I'm hoping to continue Crash Bandicoot on Thursday. And then there's obviously some more stuff in the works. So yeah, we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.